In the heart of Texas, where golden fields stretched as far as the eye could see, lived Jack McAllister, a cattle baron known for his wealth and success. He had built his empire through hard work and determination, raising some of the finest cattle in the region. The townspeople admired him, seeing him as a pillar of strength and success. Jack wore his cowboy hat with pride and rode through town with a confident smile, tipping his hat to neighbors and friends alike. Yet beneath that rugged exterior, Jack felt a deep sense of loneliness. Surrounded by the vastness of his ranch, he often found himself gazing out at the horizon, yearning for something more than just a successful business. While cattle filled his pens and his home was richly furnished, his heart felt empty. Every evening, he would sit alone on the porch, watching the sun set behind the hills, listening to the whispers of the wind. He longed for companionship that went beyond business relationships and fleeting social interactions. Jack often thought about how much he admired his best friend, Tom. Their friendship had weathered countless storms, forged through years of shared laughter and challenges. Tom was a loyal friend who understood Jack like no one else. However, there was one thing Tom had that Jack didn't: his sister, Lily. Lily had grown into a bright and spirited young woman who illuminated every room she entered. Her laughter echoed in Jack's mind long after she left. She brought life to the dull spaces of Jack's world, making him feel truly alive whenever she was near. But this added to his loneliness because he feared that pursuing a relationship with her might ruin the bond he cherished with Tom. As day turned into night, Jack knew that something needed to change. He could no longer ignore the emotion swirling inside him. Jack McAllister had always counted on his best friend, Tom, to stand by him through thick and thin. Their friendship began when they were just kids playing in the fields, dreaming of becoming great ranchers. They spent countless hours riding horses, herding cattle, and sharing secrets under the Texas sky. As they grew older, their bond only deepened. They worked side by side, tending to Jack's vast ranch and helping each other achieve their dreams. Tom was everything Jack admired in a friend: loyal, hardworking, and dependable. He had a way of making even the toughest days feel manageable with his easy laughter and quick wit. The two men complemented each other perfectly. While Jack focused on expanding his cattle business, Tom excelled at managing the ranch's day-to-day operations. Together, they had built not just a successful ranch but also a brotherhood that felt unbreakable. However, there was one thing that set them apart: Tom was fiercely protective of his younger sister, Lily. Growing up alongside Jack, she had always been part of their adventures. Tom often joked about how he would always be there to look out for her as she grew older. Little did he know that those protective instincts would soon create a dilemma for both him and Jack. As the years passed, Lily blossomed into a remarkable young woman. Her spirit sparkled like the stars above the ranch at night, and she possessed an infectious enthusiasm that drew people in. Jack admired her from afar but respected Tom's role as her brother. He treasured their friendship too much to let his feelings interfere. Yet deep down, he couldn't help but wonder what it would be like if he could share his heart with Lily without risking the bond he held so dear with Tom. The warm Texas sun shone brightly as the small town buzzed with excitement. After years of studying in the city, Tom's sister, Lily, had returned home, and the air was filled with anticipation. Stories of her adventures and achievements in school spread like wildfire, and everyone was eager to see the young woman they remembered as a girl had transformed into a spirited and kind-hearted lady. Lily stepped off the dusty bus, her long hair cascading gently over her shoulders. She looked around, taking in the familiar sights and sounds of her childhood. Her heart raced with joy as she spotted Tom waiting for her at the edge of the road, a wide grin on his face. The two embraced, laughter spilling from their lips as they shared stories of the years apart. As word spread of Lily's arrival, people gathered at the town square to welcome her back. The local cafe prepared an unofficial reception, complete with homemade pies and iced tea. Jack couldn't help but join the crowd, drawn by the joyous atmosphere. The moment he caught sight of Lily surrounded by friends, something within him stirred. She was radiant, her laughter lighting up even the darkest corners of his heart. Lily quickly became the center of attention, her enthusiasm drawing everyone closer. She spoke with passion about her studies and shared plans for revitalizing community events that had faded away. Jack admired her from afar, torn between desiring to step forward and talk to her and wanting to respect Tom's protective nature as her brother. As she moved through the crowd, engaging each person individually, Jack found himself captivated by her charm. The way she smiled at others made Jack realize just how strongly he felt for her. With every shared laugh and heartfelt conversation, he knew it would be harder to ignore his feelings as she breathed new life into his world. But in his heart lingered a nagging worry: could he truly pursue Lily without risking everything he'd built with Tom? As the days turned into weeks, Jack found himself increasingly drawn to Lily. Her infectious laughter and quick wit lit up every gathering, making the town feel a little more vibrant. Jack admired her intelligence as she passionately spoke about her studies and her ideas to bring the community together. She had a way of making everyone feel valued and heard, which stirred something deep within him. Every time they crossed paths at town events or during visits to the ranch, Jack felt butterflies in his stomach. He would watch her animatedly discussing her plans with others, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm, and he couldn't help but smile. Yet, alongside that thrill came an unsettling confusion. With every shared glance and fleeting touch, his feelings for her intensified, but so did his worry about what it could mean for his friendship with Tom. At night, while sitting on his porch under the vast Texas sky, Jack wrestled with his emotions. He would replay moments in his mind, how she encouraged shy children at the cafe to share their dreams or how she patiently listened to elderly neighbors recount their stories. Lily's kindness made him want to be a better man, yet he felt trapped by loyalty to Tom. It felt wrong to even think of pursuing his best friend's sister. The thought of causing rifts between them was unbearable. He wanted to tell Lily how special she was to him, but doubt clouded his mind. What if Tom found out? Jack knew he couldn't bear to lose either of them. Torn between heart and friendship, Jack decided to keep his feelings hidden for now, hoping that somehow time would offer clarity. But with each passing day and every interaction with Lily, the tug on his heart grew stronger, pulling him closer into a dilemma he never saw coming. As summer slowly faded into autumn, Jack found himself caught in an emotional whirlwind. Each time he saw Lily, her laughter seemed to echo louder in his heart, reminding him of the affection he was trying so hard to suppress. The more they interacted, the more he realized that his feelings for her were becoming impossible to ignore. Yet, the budding relationship posed a dilemma that weighed heavily on his mind. Jack sat on his porch one evening, staring out at the sprawling fields, feeling the weight of his internal struggle. Should he confess his feelings to Lily and risk his friendship with Tom, or should he bury these emotions deep down, maintaining the status quo? He thought about how much he valued his friendship with Tom, a bond built through years of camaraderie and support. How could he even consider stepping into a territory that might shake that trust? The thought of potentially hurting Tom gnawed at him. Tom had always been there for him, and Jack didn't want to betray that loyalty. Yet, how could he continue to ignore such a profound connection with Lily? Every moment spent with her felt like an opportunity missed, and each laugh shared only deepened the ache in his chest. His dreams at night became troubled with visions of what could be scenarios where he and Lily shared a life filled with laughter, love, and adventure, yet they were always accompanied by the shadow of Tom's disapproval. Jack felt torn between longing for happiness and fearing the consequences of his choices. The thought that pursuing Lily could ruin everything he had with Tom haunted him, making each passing day feel heavier than the last. In the quiet moments under the stars, Jack couldn't escape the truth any longer. Love often comes with complicated choices. He knew he had to make a decision soon, but which path would lead to true happiness? That lingering question filled him with uncertainty as his heart battled against his loyalty to his friend. One crisp evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the ranch, Jack felt the weight of his feelings pressing down on him like a heavy blanket. He knew he couldn't keep this secret any longer. Seeking solace, he decided to confide in his old friend, Sarah, who had always been a good listener and offered wise advice. Sarah was sitting on the porch of her family's farmhouse, sipping sweet tea and watching the fireflies dance in the twilight. Jack approached with a sigh, knowing he needed to unburden himself. "Hey, Sarah," he began hesitantly, taking a seat beside her. "Can I talk to you about something?" "Of course, Jack," she replied, her expression warm and inviting. "What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, Jack poured out his heart. It's about Lily. I can't stop thinking about her. Every time I see her, my heart races. But she's Tom's sister, and our friendship means everything to me. His voice trembled as he spoke, revealing the turmoil inside him. You care for her deeply, Sarah noted gently. But you're scared of hurting Tom. Jack nodded vigorously. Exactly. Tom has always been there for me. I can't imagine losing that bond over something like this. He ran a hand through his hair in frustration. What if I ruin everything? What if it doesn't work out between me and Lily? I don't know what to do. Sarah considered his words carefully before responding. You have to remember that love doesn't come easy, Jack. It's natural to worry about your friendship with Tom, but you deserve happiness too. Maybe you could talk to Tom about your feelings before making any decisions. Jack leaned back in his chair, contemplating her suggestion. The thought was daunting, but perhaps it was time to face both his fears and his desires head-on. This confession had opened a door he couldn't ignore. It was time to decide what truly mattered most to him. As Jack grappled with his feelings, a series of misunderstandings began to unravel his friendship with Tom. One afternoon, they were working together at the ranch, tending to the cattle. Jack was lost in thought, his mind drifting to thoughts of Lily and how to approach Tom. He absent-mindedly agreed to assist Tom with fixing the fence, but as he gazed out over the horizon, he failed to notice that Tom was explaining a complicated section of the repairs. Tom, noticing Jack's distracted demeanor, misinterpreted it as disinterest in their work. You okay, Jack? You seem miles away, he asked, concern creasing his brow. Jack quickly snapped back to attention and forced a smile. Yeah, just thinking about the cattle, he replied, choking on his words. Later that week, Tom overheard some whispers among their mutual friends about Jack's frequent interactions with Lily. By now more curious than ever, Tom's protective instincts kicked in. He approached Jack that evening during dinner and casually remarked, "So, you hanging out with Lily a lot these days? You know she's my sister, right?" Jack felt a knot tighten in his stomach when he heard those words. He could sense the implication behind Tom's question and realized it might hint at suspicion. We're just friends, Jack said too quickly, trying to sound nonchalant. But the way Tom raised an eyebrow made him uneasy, amplifying the tension that hung between them. On another occasion at a community event, Jack found himself in conversation with Lily as Tom watched from a distance. When Lily laughed at something Jack said, Tom misread her reaction as flirtation and stormed over, interrupting their moment with an abrupt tone. Are you two dating or something? Because if you are. The stark misunderstanding left Jack feeling cornered and frustrated. He struggled to express how much he valued both Tom's friendship and his feelings for Lily without causing further misunderstanding. Each encounter felt like walking on eggshells between them, amplifying Jack's anxiety about revealing his true feelings. With every miscommunication, the path forward grew murkier and more challenging as he feared what could ruin not only his budding relationship but also the long-standing bond he'd cherished with Tom. One Saturday afternoon, Jack and Lily found themselves alone at the ranch, helping prepare for the upcoming community event. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. The air was filled with the scent of freshly cut grass and the sweet sound of laughter as they gathered decorations together. Jack glanced at Lily as she climbed up on a wooden crate to reach a high shelf, her hair catching the sunlight and creating a halo around her. She turned to him, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Hey, Jack! Can you give me a hand here? She asked playfully. He quickly moved closer, standing at the base of the crate in case she needed steady support. As they worked together, their conversation flowed effortlessly, filled with light teasing and the comfort of shared history. Jack felt his heart race every time their hands brushed against each other while reaching for balloons or ribbons. They shared stories from their childhood, laughing about silly pranks they had played on each other when they were younger. Suddenly, Lily paused, looking at him with an intensity he hadn't noticed before. You know, she said softly, I really admire how hard you work to keep this place going. You're always doing so much for everyone. Her words struck deep. Jack felt a warmth spread through him as he met her gaze. Against the backdrop of twilight sky, they stood close enough to feel the electricity between them. Jack's heart pounded in his chest as he questioned whether he should take that leap and confess his feelings right then and there, his mind racing with thoughts of Tom's potential reaction. Instead, he chose to lean in closer, brushing a carefree strand of hair behind Lily's ear. "Thanks, but it's really just my passion," he replied quietly. But in that moment, Jack realized how much more there was between them than mere friendship. It was undeniable chemistry that made him hopeful yet terrified all at once. Their connection had deepened further complicating his dilemma and leaving him wondering if he could ever truly ignore his growing love for her. The next day, Jack met Tom at the ranch for their usual morning routine. The sun was barely cresting the horizon as they rode out to check on the cattle. However, an uncomfortable silence settled between them, heavy with unspoken thoughts. Tom glanced over at Jack, who seemed lost in his own world, and a feeling of unease swept over him. "Jack," Tom finally said, breaking the tension. "What's going on with you? You've been acting strange lately." His tone was casual, but Jack could sense the underlying concern in his friend's voice. "What do you mean?" Jack replied too quickly, trying to deflect. Tom raised an eyebrow. "Come on, man. I know you better than that. You're distracted and it's not like you to be so quiet." He paused for a moment before adding, "Is it about Lily?" At the mention of her name, Jack felt a rush of anxiety flood through him. "No. It's nothing," he insisted, forcing a laugh that felt hollow in his throat. "Really?" "Because it seems like you've been spending a lot of time with her," Tom pressed on, his expression shifting from curiosity to something more serious. "Are you sure there's nothing going on?" Jack's heart raced as he considered how to respond. He felt cornered by Tom's probing questions and the weight of his own unconfessed feelings. "We're just friends," he said defensively, even as doubt crept into his mind. Tom studied him closely, searching for answers in Jack's eyes. "Look, I trust you, but if there's something between you two..." "Between us?" Jack interrupted suddenly, frustration bubbling to the surface. "What do you think I am? Some kind of rival? She's your sister." The air crackled with tension as they both fell silent. Jack realized he had crossed a line, emotions were running high and trust was starting to fracture between them. Tom squeezed his jaw tightly before responding quietly, "I just don't want anything to come between us." In that moment, Jack understood how precarious their friendship had become and felt helpless against the storm brewing inside him, one fueled by fear of losing both Lily and Tom. As they continued their ride in tense silence under the rising sun, Jack knew he couldn't avoid this confrontation much longer. Something had to give soon or risk losing everything he held dear. The night of the community event had finally arrived, and the air buzzed with excitement and anticipation. The town square was beautifully decorated with twinkling lights, colorful banners, and stalls filled with local crafts. As Jack stood at the entrance with Tom, a knot tightened in his stomach. He could see Lily moving through the crowd, her radiant smile lighting up the evening as she engaged with friends and newcomers alike. Jack attempted to immerse himself in conversation with Tom, but his gaze kept wandering to Lily. She was effortlessly charming everyone around her, bringing laughter and joy with each interaction. A pang of yearning struck him. He wanted to be the one making her laugh, to share in those joyful moments. As the evening progressed, Jack could feel the walls closing in around him. He had been wrestling with his feelings for too long without resolution. Every time he locked eyes with Lily, an unspoken connection ignited within him, only to be drowned out by his anxiety about Tom's potential reaction. He knew tonight might be a pivotal moment, the chance to speak his heart or allow fear to silence him once more. Finally, when Lily approached their booth adorned in a stunning dress that accentuated her spirited nature, Jack felt a surge of determination rise within him. "Jack! Come on, let's go dance," she exclaimed playfully. His heart raced as he followed her toward the makeshift dance floor surrounded by townsfolk clapping along with the lively music. In that moment on the dance floor, bodies swaying together under festive lights, he felt a sense of belonging and exhilaration swell within him. With every twirl and spin alongside Lily, Jack's resolve grew stronger. He must tell her how he felt before it slipped away forever. Yet as they spun under the stars, doubt crept back into his mind. What would Tom think? Could he truly risk everything for love? As they finished their dance amidst cheers from their friends, Jack knew it was now or never. He took a deep breath and looked into Lily's eyes, ready to make a choice that could change everything for all three of them, his heart racing with anticipation and fear of what lay ahead. As the last notes of music faded into the night, Jack found his moment. He took a deep breath and made his way through the crowd, determined to confront Tom. Jack's heart raced as he found him leaning against a wooden post, watching the festivities with a distant look in his eyes. "Tom," Jack said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. Tom turned to him, eyebrows raised in surprise. "We need to talk." Tom studied Jack for a moment before nodding, leading him away from the lively chatter of the event. They found a quieter spot behind the barn, where the moonlight cast gentle shadows. Jack could feel the tension crackling in the air around them. "Is this about Lily?" Tom asked, crossing his arms as if bracing for impact. Jack hesitated, then decided to lay it all out. "Yeah, it is," he admitted. "I can't pretend anymore. I have feelings for her, strong ones." The confession hung in the air between them, heavy with implications. Tom's expression shifted from surprise to hurt, and Jack felt a pang of guilt. "You didn't think I'd notice?" Tom replied, his tone sharper than intended. "She's my sister, Jack. You know how much we mean to each other." "I do," Jack said, desperation creeping into his voice. "But I also know how I feel about her. I didn't want to hurt you. I've been terrified of this moment." Silence stretched between them, each man grappling with their emotions. Finally, Tom sighed deeply, his posture softening slightly. "I guess I was feeling left out. I want her to be happy, but I didn't expect it would be with you." Jack felt a mix of relief and anxiety at Tom's words. "I care about her, Tom. But more than anything, I care about you too. You're my best friend." Tom looked away, contemplating Jack's sincerity. After what felt like an eternity, he turned back and met Jack's gaze. "If you truly care for her and me, then you need to be honest with both of us." Armed with newfound resolve from their confrontation, Jack nodded. "I will." They stood in silence for a moment, two friends facing their fears together. Although the path ahead was uncertain, Jack felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He was finally ready to embrace whatever came next, love or friendship, as long as it was built on honesty. In the following days, Jack embraced a newfound clarity. After his heartfelt conversation with Tom, he understood that honesty was essential, not only for himself but also for Lily and Tom. It was time to take a step forward and express his feelings. That weekend, at the ranch, Jack invited Lily for a ride. The sun was shining bright as they trotted along their favorite trail, surrounded by vibrant wildflowers. Jack felt a mix of excitement and anxiety bubbling within him. With every beat of his heart, he rehearsed what he wanted to say. When they stopped by a serene pond, its surface reflecting the blue sky, Jack turned to Lily. "You know," he began, taking a deep breath, "I've really enjoyed spending time with you lately." She smiled, her eyes sparkling in the sunlight. "Lily," he continued, "there's something I need to tell you. I have feelings for you, strong feelings." He watched her expression change from surprise to warmth as she processed his words. "I know this complicates things with Tom, but I can't keep it to myself anymore." Lily's gaze softened as she stood closer to him. "Jack, I felt it too," she confessed. "But I was afraid of what it might mean for you and Tom." Just then, Tom appeared in the distance, having driven out to check on them. Seeing the two together elicited mixed emotions. He felt happy yet anxious for how this moment would unfold. But when he approached and noticed the genuine connection between them, any lingering doubts shifted. "Hey!" Tom called out jovially. "Looks like I interrupted something." Jack exchanged a glance with Lily before smiling back at Tom. "Actually, we were just talking about how much we care about each other." Tom nodded thoughtfully as realization washed over him. Jack and Lily deserved happiness together. Embracing both love and friendship meant accepting each other's choices without resentment. "Well then," Tom said after a brief pause. "As long as you both are honest with me and each other, I'm okay with this." He smiled warmly at them both. In that moment of acceptance, a rare harmony between the three of them, Jack felt a weight lift off his shoulders. This new beginning promised growth not only in his relationship with Lily but also reinforced his bond with Tom. As they shared laughter beneath the vast Texas sky, Jack knew they were embarking on a journey filled with love, trust, and renewed friendship that would only grow stronger together.